The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, this is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from MetalCloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Rockstar Jeep girl, Jessy.
Hi.
Hi. So, so you guys can see we're not in our usual locations. Well, there are no usual locations for Corey and Jessy. They're all over the place. But I'm on my patio at home. You know, I came home. One of my kids weren't feeling too well, so I'm here, and we're doing it on our own patio, which, as you can see, is just sitting there on the patio. It's hard to tell, but you notice I'm a little bundled up because it's actually cold here. It's like in the 60s, and there's a cloudy skies, and it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be like summertime coming up here.
Yeah, and we just pulled into Panama City Beach.
Yeah.
Beach City Beach, whatever. I don't know what is correct. But we are here for Jeep Jam, and it's horrible here.
Yeah, I could tell it's terrible. You guys are all bundled up. Jessy's wearing a sweater, and okay, for all you guys that are actually listening to this on the podcast, Jessy's not wearing a sweater.
No, and I'm just sitting here sweating, basically. So
yeah, your camera keeps fogging up from the humidity.
Humidity.
So you guys are all set up for the event?
We just dropped the trailer off. We have a great spot. Again, this is one of those events where Jamie, the coordinator, he knows us. He knows what it will look like out there, and he helps us the best way he can. We did a little bit of changing around because I wanted the CTI trailer to be a little bit more visible for people that are viewing the obstacle course. So they had us kind of going one direction. We kind of switched that up, and it was as simple as me going, hey, you know what? I think it'd be better if we went the other way. And he, of course, brought in a whole team. They're switching all the fencing around, and we're going to go the other direction. So again, yeah, and this is set up to be a big show. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that throughout the podcast. But
because I almost forgot. Like the first thing, the most important thing, like literally for all you guys, because you're going to hear this on Thursday. And by the time you hear the next podcast next week, it might be too late because, I think, it's going to be like the 19th will be the next podcast will go live. The 19th, guys, that's the deadline. The deadline for what you say? It's the deadline for the ultimate 20K Rocklander giveaway. Okay?
That's right.
Or ultimate Rocklander 20K giveaway. I forgot the name of it. It's the 20K giveaway. $20,000, guys. $20,000 in parts for your rig with rack system, suspension system, bumpers, winch. We got tent. We got the whole thing's a big blur. Go to the website, ultimaterocklander.com, ultimaterocklander.com. And right here, scan this QR code for those of you on YouTube, because that QR code is going to magically appear with post-production right there on that screen. It is, guys, it's imperative. I mean, listen, you're fans of us. You want to share it. When you're done entering, you can actually go through in your following page to share it on Facebook for additional opportunities to win. I mean, this is it, guys. This is the last week, literally the last week. From the guys, you get this on Thursday. That'll be the 12th, I think, that this will go live on Thursday the 12th. And then boom, boom, boom. Thursday the 19th is the deadline. So go on there now, ultimaterocklander.com. $20,000 in parts for your Jeep, JK, JL, or JT. And if you don't have a Jeep, JK, JL, or JT, and you got something else, enter to win anyway, because it gives a great reason for you to go buy a Jeep, JK, JL, or JT. Go tell the wife. Guess what, guys? Hey, I just won $20,000 parts for a Jeep, JK. Can I go buy one now? It's the ultimate excuse to buy a Jeep, JK, JL, or JT.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter, Rubicon, non-Rubicon, two-door, four-door, whatever you got. The cool thing about this competition, guys, is all of our partners, Raceline, Milestar, all these guys, have come together and said, once you're done, we're going to give your name to them. You will talk to them. and you will figure out exactly what you want. You, like in my case of Milestar, you may not want 38-inch Patagonia MTs. I don't know why you wouldn't want those, but you may not want those. You may want their XTs. That's okay. It's building a rig for you, right? Raceline wheels. Which wheels do you want, right? They could be the beadlocks, or maybe they're not the street. Maybe they're street lock. What wheels do you want? You're going to talk to them. This is the ultimate giveaway. And I don't know if I haven't just talked about it enough, but this is it. Last opportunity. UltimateRocklander.com. UltimateRocklander.com. It is free to enter. And all you need to do is type in your name, your email, click enter, boom. The next section is a little survey. That's just for our partners. Takes less than a minute to fill out the survey. And then you're done. You're entered. And you just sit back and wait until you get called saying you're the winner.
That's right. And even at our events, we have a sign that we set up, a little tent sign that has that QR code on it. So you can walk right up to the sign with your phone, scan the code, and enter that way. It's super simple. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not eligible, of course, but I tell you, it kind of plays into what I want to talk about later too, is all of these parts from all of our marketing partners that are part of this giveaway. This is stuff that, you know what, the consumer at the end of the day needs to start making better decisions. And our economy is headed in a direction that the consumer can change. And something like this giveaway, where we're dealing with people who are in the industry, they're mostly, for the most part, all stuff is manufactured in the USA. I mean, that's huge. For people that are tired of the economy going a different direction, they're tired of paying for high fuel prices, they're tired of all these things, the consumer can change this. But the consumer has to be the one to stop buying stuff straight from China just because it's cheaper. If they want better quality, guess what? It might cost a few dollars more, but please think about everything you purchase. This whole fuel situation, I'm not going to get political, but I will come down on the administration. Everybody's complaining about it. Jobs like what I do, what Jessy does, what Matson does, all of our roles depend on the consumer. And if you guys all stop making money and spending money, guess what? You're not going to see very much of us anymore. So this Jeep lifestyle thing is such an important part of what we all do as enthusiasts. If you want to be involved and you're tired of the situation, start buying more American-made products. I can't stress it enough.
Well, there's a whole side to that is part of the problem when you're not buying American-made products, because, you know, American-made products are made here. They're only dependent on truckers going across the country to get it delivered.
That's right.
And thankfully, right now, we still have truckers. There's a whole other side of that. Or you could be in China. You could be ordering parts from China that have to go through Shanghai. And a most recent graph that I saw, there were 377. Let me say it again, 377. You remember when we were complaining about 40, 50, or 200 ships off of Long Beach? Yeah. There's 377 ships sitting off of Shanghai. The best estimate is working day and night. It'll take them 74 days to get through all those ships and get them out and going. And then it's another 2 to 3 months before they're even received. So if you're a company that manufactures stuff overseas, like let's just say Camprite, good company. I love their products, good people. Mike, who's with us and heads up our ARS, used to work over at Camprite, but most of their products are made. Well, I think all their products are probably made in China, and so they're dependent upon these containers coming over. And if the containers aren't coming over, there's no products on the shelves. Go through a Walmart lately. Go through some of these other stores where they have stuff and products are sparse. And let's talk economics for a second, not to get too doom and gloom. So with the drop in GDP, what that means, if we have 2 quarters that have an inflationary rise and a drop in GDP, so inflation goes up, GDP goes down. That's called stagflation. 2 quarters of stagflation equals a recession. Now, let's understand the economics is all based on what we want to do. When there is fear and people don't spend money, that can create an economic situation. When companies are fearful and they don't want to buy product, that can create an economic situation. When people don't want to go to work, that can create an economic situation. Economics is all based on agreement. What you and I agree is going to happen is going to happen. You watch the media, and the media starts talking more about economic uncertainty. Guess what happens? There's more economic uncertainty. When the media talks about there's going to be rising gas prices, a lot of times they're reporting after the fact, but sometimes that reverses the course, right? We live in this world where our own point of view tends to dictate a lot of times what our future is like, right? Now, does that mean that there's not inflation? Absolutely, there's inflation. There's inflationary pressures happening for a number of reasons. Obviously, gas prices going up for another number of reasons. Let's take Ukraine out of the variable because there's food problems now happening because of scarcity of food. There's baby formula problems because guess what? Not all baby formula is made in the United States. And then we have these food processing plants across the country, two of which were crashed into by airplanes, right? You know, we've got this weird phenomena of something like, 30 some odd food processing plants across the country that have been destroyed by fire.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, I'm a conspiracy theorist at the level of Rockefeller and Trilateral Commission. I don't tend to think about these smaller little conspiracy ideas, but there's enough variables going on in this world that I can make one hell of a movie.
For sure. For sure.
But all of that then, with all that doom and gloom, I want to talk about something we don't normally talk about. Let's talk about horses. We're going to talk a lot about Jeeps. I want to talk about horses because this, I saw this, and you guys may have seen this clip, right? Of this horse called Rich Strike winning the Kentucky Derby. And it was pretty, I thought, oh, that's cool. This horse came out of behind. It's kind of like, you know, from the days of yore, a horse comes from behind and he wins the Kentucky Derby. But I had no idea about the real backstory on this. Have you guys heard what actually happened? Okay, so the Kentucky Derby was ready to go. All the horses are good. Everything's lined up. Everything's going. One of the horses, I don't know the name of who, gets scratched somehow. Has to draw out. So they randomly selected a colt to fill that position. That colt was Rich Strike. He was not part of the original lineup.
Wow.
He was an 80-1 odds. The worst odds of any horse since like the 30s or something. It's like it was an incredible story. So this horse, first off, gets randomly selected. So you're the owner of this colt, right? And this colt's just like, whatever. But you've already got a rider yours randomly selected to come into this position. And then halfway through the run or 3/4 of the way through the run, all of a sudden just starts booking it. And if you listen to it and you watch the running, they're not even paying attention. This horse is just kind of moving his way up the line, right? It's the elliptical and boom, elliptical. And I remember seeing one guy, I guess he's famous for horse betting, bet like a $1.5 million on elliptical. And it was elliptical for the win, boom, boom, boom. And he goes, and all of a sudden this Rich Strike just kind of flies, goes up and beats him by, for all intent and purposes, beats him by a nose. But this horse wasn't even supposed to be in the lineup. I mean, talk about inspirational stories, guys. So I'll go back to the ultimate Rocklander win, because if you don't enter, you can't win. If you don't enter $20,000 for $20,000,
that's right,
you can't win $20,000. And who knows? It could be you. When I heard that story, I thought, oh my God, what a cool thing for somebody just to have that moment of a complete underdog, because you don't see that a lot of times. There's a few little stories, the California horse that shouldn't be winning and won, almost won the crown, but the Triple Crown. But I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's super cool. I mean, and like you said, the Rocklander giveaway, if you don't enter, you can't win. So you might as well give yourself a chance. That's kind of that's a really significant thing in life, in all facets of life. I mean, you think about, I don't know, it's been a really odd week for us. Of course, I was sick for, 4 days or something, and I'm still kind of coming out the other side of that. But you kind of really sit back and you start to evaluate a lot of things, and when you're sick, for me anyway, my mind is spent all those things that I still want to do kind of thing. There's those things that go through your head and you think, well, what if I'm like this forever? Like, what if this is a thing now? And, I'm never going to feel good. So you have to take advantage of the things you want to do. Now, I say that, but yet the first thing I think about is all the people who are not working and have changed over the last 2 years and gone, you know what, work is not for me, and we're going to spend the rest of traveling the country. Well, I get that, but I feel like our work environment now is feeling the effects of not having maybe the highest quality of people. We mentioned it in our podcast last week. Instead of people posting signs that say now hiring, their signs just should say hiring. And I think all businesses and all companies should always be hiring, because I think we're going to go through this phase where they're not hiring the best qualified person. They're hiring somebody right now who can fog a mirror. And I think that's
how many people are coming out of retirement too.
Right. Yes.
You mentioned that before.
Very true.
And hell, you're a retiree and come out and work $19 an hour at a McDonald's. Like, why the hell? But I'm sorry, go ahead. You're talking about foggy mirrors. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think that it's unfortunate that so then all these companies, some of these companies are providing worse service. They're just putting people in places so that they have somebody to fill this need, rather than finding somebody who's actually qualified for the job. And I'll refer back to that study I think I referred to in the last podcast is, these college graduates, they're all going to school, or these kids are going to school with the thoughts of they're going to make $104,000 is what they think they're going to make with a 4-year degree right out of college to start. And yet the facts are that the average starting salary was like $64,000 or something like that. Again, there's a disconnect, and I hope companies are still keeping quality on top of quantity. It's one thing at MetalCloak. It's always been about we're never going to be the first to market, but we hope to be the best to market. And I feel like sometimes some of these companies are going, you know what, we don't care at this point. We just need to get a product out the door because it'll sell. And over the course of the last 2 years, that's exactly what happened. You could make any kind of widget and people would buy it. Well, where are those companies at now? And when that widget breaks and you can't get support for this warranty that you thought you were buying, I just think people are cautious right now, but people still need to just remember that there is quality out there, and stop just making those knee-jerk purchases because it's cheap on Amazon.
Right. It's interesting. Amazon's down. Currently, Amazon sales are down. Report recently came out that first quarter sales were down, lower than expectations, which means, one, either people are getting a little bit smarter about how they're spending their money, because let's face it, I explained this to our staff on Monday. I just kind of gave them a little economic lesson because I wanted them to be aware of it too, right? But you guys should, who knows what the future holds and who knows where the economy is going, but you need to be smart with your money. Our employees make good money doing what they're doing, and it's important for them to be smart with that now, right? And they're all young kids. They haven't been through this. They're part of that generation. They have no idea what an economic recession is like. Most of them are thinking, "Hey, this is good. I'm young, family, whatever. I have, and if there's an economic recession in the future, they need to think." And right now they're feeling a little bit of the pinch of fuel and the things they not having, but this generation tends to also be more about like, I just want to go have fun, right? And you can't disparage somebody wanting to live life. But I grew up, I know growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. Yeah, we never did. But somehow my dad always managed to go camping. I think I've told this story before, but we always managed to go camping. We had a 65 Cadillac Coupe de Ville with a old wooden trailer and like wooden spoke. I mean, this is a rubber tire, but a wooden spoke trailer that towed behind the Cadillac, and that had all our camping gear. And we would go to the redwoods and stuff. We did it on a shoestring budget, right? It was Spam and eggs and I forget, we used to maybe chicken, a little roast chicken, whatever for dinner, but it was always on a budget. And yet it was important to get out and do that stuff and enjoy in life. You didn't have to spend a lot of money to do it. And I think that's important now for everybody to think about, right? You can still do what you do, but spend your money wisely. If you're buying stuff for your Jeep, and we understand, if the economy goes south, maybe that's not where people are going to spend their money. But if you're going to spend money, spend it on quality products, companies that have been around for a while. And I'm not just saying us, because there's a lot of great companies, but think about it. Think about how you're spending that money. Think about what you're supporting when you do spend that money, because you want it to last, right? You don't want to have to replace it. You don't have to have something that breaks just because. Well, I mean, there's a couple of companies that are friends of ours that I've seen some recent stuff come out, and it's like, oh man, why is that part breaking so soon, right? Why is that failing so soon? And it's a shame.
It is. It is, and we see it. We see it at events, especially. And again, it's a lot of people they'll buy something. It just bothers me that they'll buy an inferior part for $20 less, and then it'll break, and then later they'll spend that money again buying the better part. So they've essentially they've spent that money twice, and I think that's unfortunate. And I think we all try to help folks and we all try to help them plan for what that build is, what they're eventually wanting to do. And instead of making the purchase now, save some money. Instead of spending the money twice, because you're going to have to change it when you eventually get to what you want, just be patient. But we are not, the young generation, they are not patient.
No, they're not.
Our generation is patient. We want it now, and we'll do anything at all costs to do it now, even if it's spending the money twice.
There's different types of wisdom and smartness, and it's kind of fascinating because I do believe that the young generation are pretty damn smart about certain things, right? We can make fun of them on history. We can make fun of them on their knowledge of certain facts and details, but their understanding, because of their understanding and adaptation of tech and being in a world where technology was all around and being a world where they were always on camera, they've really adapted to a different way of living and a different way of monetizing themselves, right? There's a movie years ago that I watched. It was a relatively bad movie, but there was a concept in there, and that everybody had, your value was based on your popularity score, right? You were at 89 or a 99 or 100 or a 75, or you were in the dregs because you were only at 20. Nobody wanted to talk to you with your popularity score. And literally, the celebrities, the really popular people, would always identify that, like, haha, you dropped 2 points, buddy. Like their entire value and net worth was all based on their popularity. And we're almost at that point where the more popular you are, the more value you have. You're on TikTok, you have a ton of followers. You're on OnlyFans, you're making a bunch. Your value is based on how much attention you can draw to yourself and how many people are willing to watch you and be drawn into your world.
Wow. That is so completely happening in real life. Like, right? That is the world we live in right now.
And the dystopian potential of that is harsh. You end up having things like Running Man, right? Hey, Running Man's great. That's a great movie. That's good. Fantastic. Popularity, right? Popularity contest. You end up having worlds where values don't matter because popularity does.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I guess it's how we stand out, right? I mean, it's, as Jeep owners, we all know the reason we bought Jeeps is because we can make them our own. So how do we stand out? How do we make this Jeep mine? And when we come into areas, especially in Florida, Jeep Jam especially, all of those uniquities Is that a word? All of those things that makes you stand out become very, very big because you have a whole bunch of other Jeeps you're competing with. Whereas, you go to a place like Moab, where we're all about going out on trails. Well, then you have to show everybody how cool you are by doing the craziest trails with, the biggest, baddest. We don't take the bypasses. We go up the hardest lines. It is interesting. How do we stand out?
Right. And how many? I'm curious. I'm actually curious how many people were going around with their phones and like filming themselves this year at EJS. Like, oh wait, I'm gonna do this line. I got to film myself. I got to put my selfie camera in, or my selfie stick, or have my 360, or my, my GoPro, my $2,000 worth of GoPros on my Jeep, just to make sure that I'm documenting myself and I can go back and throw it up there. And I'm not talking about the YouTubers that make a living doing this stuff, but just the idea that there are, I'm documenting myself because I'm kind of cool too, and I want to see myself.
What's funny is it's the process of just in case I do something dumb.
Right? Got to catch it. And
right. I could be famous.
You could be. Like, you can go viral. And in this context, viral, we just went through 2 years of viral not being a good thing, but I guess it can be, it's
right.
Yeah. Speaking of standing out, my Jeep is done.
Yes.
Oh. When you get it?
It's in Rolla, Missouri, waiting to be on a truck to come to me. So they're hoping by the end of this month.
By the end of the month, it's done. It's off the assembly line, and now it's just waiting for transport.
Wow, that'll be cool.
It's still interesting. All the dealerships we've driven by, Jeep couldn't get their yellow Jeeps to Jeep Beach. That's where they were supposed to release the color and the Jeep Beach edition, all of that. And I only saw 2.
Well, they were supposed to give away the yellow one, and they ended up giving away a white one with the trailer.
Oh, that's right.
Well, you get a wrap. We'll get you a wrap.
Yeah. You get a white Jeep, and then we'll wrap it later. But yeah. So that's exciting. It's going to be bright. Oh my gosh, bright.
I like it. That's cool. So we'll have to get things going on it too. Sorry, you have to go through like an evolution of it. What was that? What was that thing?
There's kind of a clue.
Oh, it looks a little. It needs some love right now, but
I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see the tattoos. Which one were we looking at primarily?
The Care Bear.
The Care Bear.
Oh, the Care Bear. Okay. Nice. With the little Jeep smiley.
Yeah.
That is the
name of my Jeep.
That's Funshine.
Funshine. So that's the Jeep's name. You've already got it. I'm lousy at that stuff. I'm lousy at naming Jeeps. MetalCloak in general. At MetalCloak, and it's probably because I'm bad at it, therefore it doesn't happen. But all the Jeeps that we've had in our fleet over the years, we always had Cloak 3. Like that's our big. What is it? It's Cloak 3. Why? That's the license plate. Okay, good. Cloak 2, Cloak 1, the TJ. It's the 49er truck. It's the Raider truck. Yeah, which one's that? The silver. What? Which one are you going to drive? If we had names, like I always admired our buddy Dusty Sharp over at Poison Spider, because every rig they built had a name. It was whatever, Papa Smurf and all the different rigs they had over there with cool names. We suck at it.
Well, and some, when it's a company rig, it depends, because sometimes companies, those rigs come and go. There's not a lot of personal attachment to them. And there's some people that they think that it's just ridiculous naming a vehicle. And others, that's kind of, it is a special thing for them. It's part of the family, if you will.
Right. True. You start naming something, it becomes part of a family. Is that the solution to, I won't even get on. I was going to start going down Roe v. Wade, but I've been listening so much about that. It's just like, it's insane. We'll go. That is not a subject of all the possible subjects that we can talk about on Modern Jeeper. That is not one we're going to go down.
No.
That being said, okay, so Jeep Jam is when?
So the kickoff party is tonight. And then I think there's people going out on trails tomorrow.
The dunes. They have dunes.
Right. For our listeners, this is Tuesday. We record our podcast on Tuesday and they go live on Thursday. So this is Tuesday, May 10th.
Yeah. So formally, I believe that the obstacle course and everything starts on Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Main days being Friday and Saturday, but from what Jamie showed me, like there's a significant amount of vendors. There's a significant amount of people registered. It should be a great event. He does a good job, and again, it's because he knows as a coordinator all of his vendors, and I think that's huge.
Well, that's caring for your vendors to care for your people, because people are coming for the trail, they're coming to do their stuff, but they're also coming for the vendors. You always have to have a good, even at club events, they need to have a good vendor advocate as well as a good attendee advocate. I mean, the mixed signals we got, the mixed feedback we got on Jeep Beach this year from vendors, from others. Some people want to come back, some people don't. The attendance was good, the attendance was bad. I mean, ultimately, the only people really know that they met their goals is the Jeep Beach board itself.
That's right.
For all of us, it's just, we did good, we enjoy ourselves, and it was a worthwhile event. And Jeep Jam's coming, and that's gonna be an interesting type of one. I'll have to work on getting shirts for Jeep Jam next year.
Actually, we were just having the conversation, and of course, I was wearing this shirt when we went and dropped the trailer off. And Jamie came over and he put his arm on me and he said,
when do we get shirts?
So I don't really rate a shirt yet, I guess. And I said, you know what? That's not true. Your event is big enough that we could probably do something. And he was like, I think we're getting there. And I said, yeah, I think you're exactly right. So,
right. Yeah, it's just, the real thing is, well, you're just not on Matson's radar yet.
Well, I told him he didn't have any gold on his Gladiator, and that would definitely help whether or not we made shirts.
That is true. That is true. He if he wants to be the gold standard of events, he's got to have some gold on his Jeep.
That's right.
So that goes. So you go. So tonight, kickoff tomorrow. So the vendor show starts tomorrow. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or
the vendor show doesn't start until Thursday.
Yeah,
okay.
Thursday.
They have a little bit, and then Friday and Saturday are the main shows. Everybody still gets to do the dunes, and they have the turtle crawl and all that stuff too.
Yeah, so we'll go set up tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday vendor show. Sunday, break everything, pack everything up, and we're gonna start heading for Flagstaff, Arizona.
So you guys are going straight there from Flagstaff? I guess you got to. Wow.
Yeah. 3.5 days.
Yeah.
Can you drop the CTI someplace in the truck and just take the Gladiator? Or which rig do you actually have on which rig did you drive out?
The LJ.
Oh yeah, the LJ with you. Okay.
The Gladiator won't fit on the trailer.
Yeah. Well, we got to fix that. That's just dumb.
We just need like some slide-in ramps or something. I don't know.
Yeah, trailer.
We just need to angle the ramps back even further so they hit somebody behind them.
Yeah.
Way back. Way
back.
Yeah. So cool. Well, that'll be fun. Yeah, we've got a lot to do, and then suddenly we're on the road on Thursday. We're driving down Thursday. So
and then literally after Flagstaff, we get home, we turn right around, and we're headed to Moab for the Moab adventure.
ModernJeeper Adventure, guys. If you didn't sign up, too bad. So sad.
Yeah.
Registration's now technically closed, although I don't think I closed it on the website. So, but by the time you guys see us on Thursday, registration will be gone. So It'll be close.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But so it sounds going to be a great event. Sounds like you guys got to be exciting stuff going on. All the kids lined up. Cool. Then we've got Tillamook filling up. We've got San Juans of Colorado filling up. And you know, the big elephant in the room was the Rubicon. Yes. But like I said, we're dealing with other jurisdictions right now. So we have to work all those details out.
I keep waiting to see if I can find a place for cheap fuel. I'm just going to pick up a tanker on the way home and fill it up.
Yeah, they're not on the West Coast. No.
Yeah, not on the West Coast.
Not on the West Coast. You're not going to find anything cheap out this way.
No, we're about $5.50 for diesel out here.
Well, I'm paying $6 for regular unleaded right now.
Ugh. Wow.
Yuck.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. I don't even like bother. You know, you should just fill up, but it's like, you know, I'm back to putting $10 in, or we're not putting 10 gallons in, not $10. That gets you like not very far. Putting like 10 gallons in at a time, you know, and then.
You know, what's weird is how come fuel is so expensive, yet you can fly to Hawaii for like $29 right now.
Well, because jet fuel is a lot cheaper than the rest of the fuel.
How's that work?
Yeah, right. That works because of long-term contracts. So, you know, UPS flies into Mather Depot over here, or whatever, not Mather Depot, it's whatever they call it, Mather Field. Flies into Mather Field, UPS is out there, and they've got a long-term contract with, I think it's Chevron, for their fuels. So if, you know, and I'm sure there's some variability in that contract, but they've got to plan out their costs for a year. So they can't go and say, well, we're just going to let fuel prices go up and down and up and down and up and down. You know, and then I know there's some hedging that goes on. Like they'll actually buy, like big companies will buy futures. They'll hedge their bet. They'll do offset it by doing fancy trading with Wall Street to offset costs on fuel or changing prices. But they have long-term contracts. At the same time, there might even be something like, well, we got to open Hawaii back up. We got to do it. So that then the Hawaii travel agencies, the travel bureau, whatever, the visitor bureau makes a deal with them. It says, hey, when you come over here and they have to refuel when they land, so maybe they're refueling at super cheap prices. Oh, you had a really big seagull just fly right by you. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
you know, so it's kind of, so as consumers, and everybody is up in arms about the fuel prices. So at what point do, I don't know, travel agencies state by state, or we need help. We need somebody to fix the at the end of the day, it's the general population that has to be more involved in what our administration is doing. And if we don't like something, we have to change it. We can't sit back and keep complaining about it. And social media has just become this platform of everybody complaining about it and nobody doing anything about it. So,
but we feel good about ourselves.
Right.
There's an interesting Joe Rogan clip I saw, and I haven't watched the podcast, but Joe Rogan interviewed the former CEO of Twitter, and in that interview, he asked. They were talking about it. He goes, well, they had very specific algorithms. Like 60% of people that identified as left-leaning only circled themselves with people that were left-leaning, or only listened to people that were left-leaning. Whereas like 80% of those that were right-leaning listened to everybody. Which was just an interesting intro. Like they said, he's basically saying, it's Jack Dorsey is basically saying, yeah, we did it to ourselves.
Right.
Because we built these things. You can see so when people are listening to themselves and they're only listening to the choir around them, all they hear is that, and they think everything they think is right. Right. And let's face facts, guys. I don't care who you are. You know, the 80-20 rule applies to all of us. An 80-20 rule says, right, you know, something like 80% of your good things probably comes from 20% of your time. It's all kinds of breakdowns like that, right? Let's be fact. Probably 80% of what happens good in our life comes from 20% of our thoughts. The other 80% of our thoughts are bullshit that we shouldn't be thinking about anyway.
That's right.
Thinking is overrated. Just because it appears in your head, just because it is your thought, doesn't mean that, one, it's valid, two, anybody cares about it, or three, you should act on it. Right?
Very true. It's head trash.
Try to teach my kids. They don't get it. But like,
yeah, no, that's head trash. I think I've talked about that in a prior podcast. These large corporations and an old one of my old supervisors, an old boss, talked about head trash. If we could get rid of the head trash, we'd be way more productive. But it is what occupies the majority of our time. Period.
I love that term, head trash. I love that. Right? It is. And that's the problem. Maybe that's been the value of having some people work from home and do it, so that when they're working with that 20%, and they're not wasting that other time, that other 80% of their time with the head trash. Or you just get in a position where you're somebody like the CEO of Coinbase, who says, essentially, I don't care what your head trash is.
Right.
I don't care what you think. I don't care what your plan is. I don't care what your special mission in life is. I don't care what you love or hate. When you're here 8 hours a day, your job is to do X. If you don't agree with that job and you want to spend more time doing other things, then there's the door. Go find a company that follows your own missions and values, like Expensify. I always go down that path.
I think that was Steve Martin in The Jerk, where his goal was to find his special purpose. And I think we all should be trying to find our special purpose.
Oh man! Oh God! Now I gotta go watch that again. Find my special purpose.
Everybody needs to find a special purpose.
Yes. Guess what? Everybody out there, you have a special purpose. And it's probably not what you think it is.
That's right. That's right.
Well, man, cool. So Jeep Jam, you're going to be out there. What's the hours for CTI out there? You're doing is it?
We're going to, I will be open when they're open. So, unless it gets, it's supposed to be pretty hot. So our buddy Philip is coming down. He's going to be able to help us out.
Cool.
I think on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Friday, the obstacle course, which we're a part of, obviously, is from 10 to 6. And then Saturday, it's from 9 to 5. So.
Hey, how long are your nails right now, girl? They look sharp, too.
Yeah, they are.
I've seen these nails fly by, and I'm like, those are deadly weapons right there.
They are. They're awesome.
I keep asking her, I'm like, how do you grab anything?
It's interesting.
Well, it's watching those ladies that have long nails like type, and they do the whole it's like they're typing they're typing with the little tips.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody out there, if you're in that region, come on out. Go see the Florida Jeep Jam. They called it the Florida Jeep Jam before. Right now, before it was like Panama.
Yeah. Florida Jeep.
So come out and see the Florida Jeep Jam. Catch Corey and Jessy. If you would like to just come out and see us, and you're out around Arizona, go out to the Overland Expo.
Yeah.
See myself, Corey and Jessy. We're going to do a live episode.
Yep.
As part of that giveaway, May 21st, we're doing a live episode. We have no idea how. We'll figure it out when we get there. We're going to bring all the equipment, and we'll figure it out, and we'll try to make this thing work. And during that live episode, we will be giving away one person, one winner, one guy or girl, boy, whatever. I don't actually care. Gender fluidity is fine. As long as you own a Jeep, you can have and win $20,000 for your Jeep. Did I say $20,000? I said that enough, right? $20,000. Yeah.
You got to enter though. They should enter. I think they should enter.
Yeah, ultimaterocklander.com, ultimaterocklander.com. I've got a commercial going out there. Have you seen my commercial? Yeah. I got to do a new one though. Now the next one's going to be like, oh my god, did you hear? It's almost over. Like I'm going to do it. We'll do a big like freaky one, running out of the door. Fire! Oh, I mean, just in a room. Well, I miss you guys. Look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll hang out, and we're gonna go and have a really good dinner. Like I'm thinking a really good steak.
We gotta find some Bananas Foster.
Oh, dude. So I was talking to John. Like, did you just no? You guys didn't do Bananas Foster. You didn't do it.
No.
You didn't do it this year.
No, not this year.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll make it work. And then, guys, maybe next week when we're talking, actually, so we'll still record an episode next week, and then we'll do the live one on the 21st, and then we'll go from there, and then maybe not. That'll be our following week. But I'll leave everybody with this note. There are things we learn in this industry that we can't talk about, and Corey and I learned some stuff this week that was pretty freaking incredible, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about it pretty soon. But if there are game changer things in this industry, there's some game changer whoopies coming on soon. So stay tuned, watch us, because we are insiders. We have the information, but sometimes we're very nice and polite. Unlike other media sources, we don't expose things until we're allowed to. So,
and we'd like to probably put some of these folks, get them on the podcast, and we always hear stories, and then we always go, yeah, but there's probably more to it. And so, there's a lot of acquisitions out there happening. But we'd like them to be able to tell their story first, and then maybe we can get some of those people to be on the show. So
that's a great idea, because I think we really need to do that. So maybe we just need to do it like the month or 2 months of podcast acquisition, because that's a number that have happened, all friends of ours, and that we're just going to have to go through and just do a series of interviews of these guys about their post acquisition world.
That's a great idea.
All right, my friends. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the trails.
Cheers, buddy.
See ya.